Deal or no deal? Well, it's only a deal if you're the incumbent in Epsom, it seems. National leader Judith Collins today rolling out the red carpet for ACT leader David Seymour. It comes after Labour leader Jacinda Ardern ruled out deals for New Zealand First MP Shane Jones in Northland and Green MP Chloe Swarbrick in Auckland Central. The ACT party itself hit the road, firing up a bus with a knitted mascot called Freedom, buckled into the front seat to take its campaign out of Epsom and into the provinces. David Seymour has been the party's lone MP since 2014, winning the Epsom seat, but failing to get enough of the party vote to bring anyone else into Parliament. But ACT's fortunes may be changing, with or without National's endorsement. Our reporter Sarah Robson went along for the ride.
Decked out in its signature blue, pink and yellow colours, the ACT Party's campaign bus is ready to hit the road.
It's got David and my face plastered on one side and number 3 to number 8 on the other side. I think it's a 16-seater bus, but we've got 2 volunteer drivers who are absolute champions, giving up their time to come and spend the next 5 weeks with us.
There'll be more than 70 stops along the way from Whangarei to Bluff. And while there's Wi-Fi, ACT's Deputy Leader Brooke Van Velden says the facilities on board this minibus are pretty basic.
There's not much. I've been very adamant that we needed a kettle because I drink lots of tea. So my concern was making sure that if we're on the road, that I actually get my morning tea in.
Recent polls have put support for ACT anywhere between 3 and 5%, giving it up to 6 MPs. And after 2 terms as the party's sole MP, leader David Seymour could have a caucus to keep in line. He says he's up to the task.
The Parliamentary Service recently asked me to write some advice for incoming MPs because they think I'm one of the best employers of parliamentary staff. So I think we're very prepared to lead a team, and it's going to be helped by the quality of the team that we're bringing in.
Deputy Brooke Van Velden played an instrumental role in getting David Seymour's end-of-life choice bill across the line in Parliament, which voters will get the final say on in a referendum on election day. Gun lobbyist Nicole McKee, a vocal opponent of the coalition government's changes to firearms laws in response to the Christchurch mosque shootings, is number 3 on ACT's list. Mr Seymour was the only MP to vote against the first tranche of those reforms. But does ACT risk getting captured by special interest groups? Mr Seymour doesn't think so.
We've never taken a position that you can't draw a straight line back to pure principle, whether it be free speech, fair firearm laws, our constructive and consistent approach to the Epidemic Response Committee, end-of-life choice, partnership schools. With ACT, it's always been about principle, sometimes to our political cost.
But the former United Future leader, Peter Dunn, knows better than most how hard it can be to keep a caucus of divergent interests together. He says there is a risk ACT could follow the same fate as United Future in the mid-2000s, when it ended up split between a conservative Christian faction and its more moderate centrist supporters.
The important thing is to try and get the team together and focused on the team's objectives rather than the special interests or the pet projects of individuals' objectives. If you get caught by the latter, you're in trouble. In David's case, I think he's really got to say, look, this is what ACT's about. These are our core messages. We've got to fit all of our approaches into those core messages. Otherwise, it could fly apart very quickly.
ACT has long relied on the super urban Epsom electorate to secure its seat in Parliament and an endorsement from National. And like her predecessors, Judith Collins is singing David Seymour's praises.
I'm very happy to say that we want the party vote, please, and Epsom, please. And in this particular electorate, you can give the first tick for the electorate to David Seymour. I think he's a very good local MP, and I would welcome him being part of a national ACT government.
As for whether he needs an endorsement from National in a seat where polling shows him well ahead,
It would be churlish for me to turn off any endorsement, so I'm always grateful for people encouraging others to vote for me.
David Seymour doesn't think he'll need to change his pitch to voters too much when he hits the provinces.
Voters in Epsom and voters everywhere have the same basic concern. how do we secure our future economically without indebting future generations?
And with a smile and a wave,
Bon voyage!
and a knitted mascot doll named Freedom buckled up in the front seat, the ACT Party bus is ready for the road.
Freedom has 2 eyes for seeing, a nose for smelling, but evidently no ears, which possibly is a disadvantage for Freedom because, of course, ACT is always listening.
And in case you're wondering, it's first in, first served for a seat on the ACT Roadshow. Mō te hōtaka o te ahi, ko Sarah Robson, aho.